So welcome to the job fair preparation presentation. My name is Liliana Ortiz and I'm part of Student Support Services. Before we get started, I have the Director of Adult Education, Dr. Wayne Dulio, who would like to say a few words.
Well, good afternoon. I wanted to thank all of our students that are participating in today's job fair presentation. And this type of groundwork that you're doing is an excellent preparation in all aspects of going to get a job. If you've been participating in the weekly Thursday services that this team has put together, you are going to be in a great spot to get that interview. So good luck to you. You'll learn a lot. Thank you to the SSS team. And I'll send it back to you, Liliana. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. D. So to get started today, we're going to be talking about job fairs and why is this important? Why is this an important topic to talk about today and at this time? Well, as many of you know, the state is reopening, so there's a lot of employers that are looking to hire workers. However, what's happening is that because there is a huge hiring need in the near future, they're going to have to hire workers quickly. So oftentimes what happens is employers participate in job fairs to try to get access to as many potential candidates as possible. So if you are looking for work, I highly encourage you to participate in the job fairs that are coming up so that you can meet the recruiter and have a better chance of getting the job. So today we're going to be talking about how to prepare before the job fair, what to do the day of the job fair, what to do after the job fair, including the follow-up process. And then I'll be talking a little bit about future events that we do have through Torrance Adult School. And at the end, we're going to have a chance to practice our elevator pitch, which I'll talk about that in a bit. So what is a job fair? So a job fair is a recruiting event where employers meet with a large number of job seekers. So usually in the job fair, this is your opportunity for you to introduce yourself, express your interest in the company, and share your qualifications. Some employers will provide interviews on the spot, or they may ask you a few questions to get to know you and determine if you're a good fit for the job and the company. So there's two things happening. There's the recruiters looking for potential candidates, and then there are job seekers hoping to get the job. Because job fairs can be very busy, it's very important to prepare. That way you have a better chance of making that good impression and making it to the next step, which may be an interview or maybe just a conversation with the recruiter. So before the job fair, there are a few things that we recommend that you do in order to prepare. The first thing, if possible, is to research the companies that are attending. So research what kind of jobs they have available at this moment. What are the qualifications for these jobs? What's the mission, vision of the company, and what products and services they provide? This is important because normally in the job fair, there's going to be many different employers available, but you may only have 2 hours to talk to all the employers. You want to make sure you know what they have to offer. That way you can prioritize the employers. So for example, if you are really interested in office positions and you know that, for example, you know Torrance Unified School District is at that job fair and you really want to talk to them, you want to make sure that you go to that employer table first. Or if you're interested in accounting and you're really interested in that one CPA firm that's participating, then you want to go to that CPA firm first. That way you have that chance to speak to the employer. Now, what's going to happen is you're not always going to have the list of companies available to you, and that's fine. What you do in that case is you prepare yourself to talk about your experience, your skills, and your interests, which are the next few steps that I'll be mentioning in a bit. But if you do have that list of employers, definitely do your research and start preparing. Now, the second thing that we recommend is updating your resume with the most current information. If you are going into a specific field, or you definitely want, if you have like a specific job in mind, for example, our accounting students, if you are interested in accounts payable, maybe you just want to do bookkeeping, make sure that your resume is tailored for the job that you want. If you are just looking for general experience, maybe you're entry level worker who wants to work in retail, maybe you want to work in hospitality, where your skills, are probably more general skills that are transferable. It's okay to have a general resume in that case. But if you are looking for a specific job, or want to work for a specific company, make sure that your resume is tailored for that job and company. Bring plenty of resumes in a Pathfolio or folder. Normally, when it comes to a job fair, you'll be passing out your resume with your information, and the employer will take it. So you want to make sure that you have plenty to go around to all the employers. Um, I recommend that you bring a Pathfolio or folder. A Pathfolio is basically just a fancier folder with like a notepad. I recommend that you just bring that, because when you are going through a job fair, especially in-person job fair, you don't want to be carrying a lot of things, because you're going to go up to the employer, you're going to introduce yourself. You don't want to, your handbag or whatever you're carrying to kind of fall out of your hands. You want to be confident and be able to um, when needed. And we'll talk a little bit about what to bring to the job during the job, to the job fair in a bit. The third thing that we recommend is for you to have a reference list. So with at least 3 professional references. Previous supervisors, coworkers, teachers, coaches, and mentors are okay. Please stay away from family. Sometimes some employers will allow you to have personal references. In that case, it's normally someone who knows you, but not necessarily family. So have that available just in case they do ask for it. You can also submit it with your resume when you do give it to the employer. And fourth, practice your elevator pitch. Prepare for a few general interview questions and prepare questions to ask the employer. This is very important. You want to go prepared to talk about your skills, your experience, and your interests. That way, the employer will, get a good impression of you and understand what you're looking for and how you meet their qualifications. And we're going to talk about this step for a little bit more in depth in a bit. So elevator pitch. I know elevator pitch is a new concept for some of us. Basically, what an elevator pitch is, like a 30-second introduction, very, very quick. They call it elevator pitch because if you think about it, when you're in an elevator and if you meet someone in the elevator, you see a recruiter in the elevator, what happens? You only have a few seconds, maybe a minute to speak to them before they get off the elevator, right? So that's why it's called an elevator pitch. So you only have 30 to 60 seconds to quickly make an impression. And what is included in an elevator pitch is who you are. So who are you? What do you do? What do you want? And a call to action, or in some cases, you can end with a question if there's that opportunity. So here Indeed gives us an example. So you can start by introducing yourself, and here they have Sarah. So here it's, hi, my name is Sarah. It's nice to meet you. And you provide a summary of what you do. I'm a PR manager specializing in overseeing successful initiative launches from beginning to end. Explain what you do, what you want. I find the work your PR team does to be innovating and refreshing. I love the opportunity to put my expertise to work for your company, and then end with a call to action. Would you mind if I set up a quick call next week for us to talk about any upcoming opportunities on your team? So it's very short and just 4 steps in less than 60 seconds. Um, we know who Sarah is, what she wants to do, and what her request is at the end, the call to action. Very, very quick, right? What happens at the end is maybe at a job fair, maybe you will have the opportunity to talk to the employer a little bit more. maybe you won't, because if there's a lot of people at the job fair, the recruiter may want to move on to the next candidate or keep going in order to get through as many candidates as possible, right? So you may not have the opportunity to ask questions, but if you do have the opportunity to ask questions at the end, um, in addition to the call to action, you can ask questions like, what is the job application process like, right? What are additional qualifications that you're looking for in this position? Can I contact you if I have any questions about the job? Let me give you a little example that may be a little bit more relevant for some of our students. So for example, if you're an accounting student, I wrote up a quick elevator pitch that, you can use as an example, but basically if you're an accounting student, you can say, I'm currently a student at Torrance Adult School studying accounting and bookkeeping, working to obtain my certification, enter the field of accounting. I'm highly interested in working for your company and being able to apply my accounting knowledge and years of experience working with a fast-paced environment. If possible, I would be glad to have the opportunity to speak with you about available positions. It's a little bit on the longer side. I can always cut it a little shorter. That's fine. If you have experience, you should start off by talking about how you have years of experience in accounting or years of experience in that field. But let's say you don't have experience, but you're currently in school and doing the training, then you can start off by saying, I'm currently training in this field, for example, or allied health students. I'm currently training to become a medical billing and coding professional at Torrance Adult School. I'm looking for an opportunity to extern, and I would love to, extern with your company. Very, very, very quick. That's fine. We are going to have the opportunity to practice this elevator pitch at the end. So please do stay with us. So the next thing that you should prepare for, like I mentioned, was prepare for general interview questions. So job fairs are busy and they do bring in many candidates. So what happens is for some jobs or some employers may have like one or two questions that they may ask you just to kind of weave out the candidates and see who qualifies. So in order to stand out, it's, you want to make a good impression and you want to prepare for these general questions. Some of those general questions may include, tell me about yourself. What do you know about the company and why would you want to work here? Let's say you don't know anything about the company. That's okay. Don't lie. Don't say, oh, I know a lot about the company, right? And then if the employer asks you, okay, what kind of services do we provide? Or can you explain, what do you like about our company? You don't want to, you don't want to lie, because if they do ask you those questions, you're gonna blank, you're not going to look good. Just be honest. Just let them know, especially for smaller companies, you might not know what they do. Just let them know, I don't know too much about your company, but I'm very curious. I really would like to learn more. And then let them explain and then follow up by expressing your interest in the company and letting them know that, you are eager to work for them and you do have the qualifications and skills that they're looking for. Another question that may be asked is, what skills or experience do you have that relate to the job? Why did you leave your last position, or why are you seeking employment? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, or what are your goals? What do you consider your strengths and weaknesses? So these are just very basic interview questions that we spoke about last week if you participated in our interview preparation presentation. If you want to know a little bit more on how to respond to these questions, please visit our YouTube, Torrance Adult School Outreach, and look up our interview preparation presentation, and you'll get more information on how to best answer these questions. In addition to preparing for interview questions, you want to prepare questions for the employer. Come prepared with 2 or 3 questions to ask the employer. Sometimes you're not going to maybe come up with the questions until the day of, depending on what the employer will ask you. But, before you go to the job fair, you want to have at least 2 or 3 questions to kind of jot it down on a notepad. That way you remember to ask those questions to the employer, questions that you're really interested or knowing of. For example, what entry level or mid-level positions are available in your company? What are the qualifications? What are the needs of the company? Does your company offer any internships or training programs? How would you describe a typical day in this position? How's the application interview process? What does it consist of? Okay, sometimes what happens is when we start talking to people, we get so excited and into the conversation that we forget to ask the main question that we need to ask. And usually that question is, what is the application process like? How can I follow up? So make sure to jot down your questions before going to the job fair. That way you remember to ask the recruiter. Now, the day of the job fair is as important. You want to go prepare and make a good impression. So you start off by deciding what to wear. So you definitely want to dress for success. If you're going to a job fair that has employers that maybe are hiring more so for like accounting, office job, maybe allied health, or jobs that require you to dress a little bit more professionally, you want to make sure that you wear a suit or dress more on the professional side. So a suit would be good, preferably in dark colors with a light color shirt or blouse underneath. Don't wear any stripes or anything that might be a little bit too distracting. Wear closed-toe shoes. When it comes to personal items, just keep that at a minimal. Don't if you have your phone, you can't leave it in your car. Just turn it off. Make sure it's non-vibrating mode, because remember you can't hear the vibration. Uh, if you're carrying a purse and you have to carry a purse, make sure it's not too big and it's something you can easily carry around. If you have to bring water too, that's fine. Just bring something small, nothing. Make sure that your hands aren't too occupied, because you are going to be moving around taking notes. Maybe if allowed, maybe you'll be giving a handshake. Again, that's if allowed, and once we get past COVID. If you're going to a job, sorry, I keep mixing up the job job fair with the job interview. But if you go to a job fair that has more casual employers, maybe retail, hospitality, the food industry, you can go a little bit more business casual. So business casual, normally it's okay to wear like nice pants and a nice shirt, button down shirt or blouse. For a woman, you can wear a cardigan, you can wear a nice sweater. That's fine. Just make sure to look neat. For men, if you want to wear khakis, that's fine too. Just make sure that everything looks neat, it's wrinkle free, and that and that you're wearing like a button down shirt or polo, just so that you can complete that look. Still wear closed toe shoes. Make sure that your shoes are comfortable, especially if you're going to be walking. You don't want to be like tripping. Sometimes you're going to be standing in line for a while. If you're waiting for a specific employer, you definitely want to be comfortable. Now, just some general recommendations. Make sure your clothes is tailored, in good condition, wrinkle and line free. Make sure your hair is well groomed, and for women, if possible, it would be best that you do wear it back. That way it doesn't get in your face. Nails and makeup, make sure it's natural. Jewelry and fragrance, wear moderate jewelry with mild fragrance, okay? Piercing, tattoos, just, if you notice that most of the employers are, take on more of a conservative approach, then make sure that, you cover up. But if they're a little bit more accepting, or the culture accepts a little bit more the piercings and tattoos, then it may be okay. I would always take the conservative approach, just in case, because you may not know what the company culture is like. Um, Other than that, just always remember, no sandals, no jeans, no sweatpants. Just look professional. And if you are participating in our job fair next week, because it is a virtual job fair, just make sure that you wear a nice shirt or blouse and have your hair groomed. You don't have to go full suit. Just make sure you do look neat. Now, what to bring during a job fair? Bring a notepad and pen to take notes, especially notes on any notes on the process, so the application process, or sometimes what happens is the employer or recruiter may give you their contact information, and you want to make sure that you jot that down. Bring a portfolio or folder with plenty of resumes. Bring your reference list, a list of questions from the employers, and identification in case they ask. The employer themselves may not ask for identification, but what I mean by bring your identification is sometimes what happens is you may register for the event and they may check you in. Maybe they'll ask for, identification, maybe they won't, but you definitely want to have it just in case. When it comes to a job fair, arrive early. If the job fair is from 9 to 11, you don't want to arrive at 11:40, because what's going to happen is there may be a long line and you're not going to have a chance to talk to the employer that you want to talk to. It's better to arrive on time or a little bit before the event. That way you can check in and then walk around and see who is there, and be able to talk to as many employers as possible. And plus, what happens when you arrive late, people do notice that you're rushing in, trying to talk to as many people as possible. I know that because some of us may have kids, so we have to drop them off. Some of us might, have a part-time job somewhere else. You can't get there on time. And that's fine. But what I'm saying is just don't get there at the really last minute when it's about to close, because then you really won't have any opportunity to speak to the employers. Now, when approaching a company at a job fair, these are kind of some of the steps that you would take. So you would give the recruiter a firm handshake if appropriate. Remember, at this time, it's not appropriate to be giving handshakes, but after COVID, when appropriate, you would give the recruiter a firm handshake, make eye contact, and smile. You definitely want to come off as friendly. Two, introduce yourself by delivering your elevator pitch and expressing your interest in the company. Three, ask any questions you have for the company, or answer any questions the recruiter may ask of you. Then ask what are the next steps and how you can apply to the position. Do not leave without asking what are the next steps and how you can apply to the position, okay? Remember, that's very important. Close by thanking the recruiter and providing your resume. If possible, request their contact information. And a couple ways you can do this is, may I contact you with further questions? What is the best way to contact you? Do you have a business card? Ensure to take notes throughout the entire process. You don't want to forget the application procedures or any information the recruiter provides. If the recruiter provides you with their contact information, follow up in a timely manner within 24 hours. And we'll talk about how the follow-up looks in a bit. So after the job fair, you will follow up with the recruiter. So follow the instruction the employer gives you, okay? So the employer gave you any instructions, follow those instructions. For example, did they say apply online? If they say apply online or submit your application online, go ahead and do so. Did they say follow up with a digital copy of your resume? If they did, you want to make sure you send it within 24 hours. Make sure to submit the request as soon as possible. Sometimes the employer will just say, oh, just send me an email, and then we can talk about the positions at a later time. Send them an email and make sure to do so as soon as possible. The second thing you want to do, and you can do this at the same time that you are following up with the recruiter, is sending them a thank you note that thanks the recruiter for their time and expresses your interest in moving forward. And here on the right side, there's an example that I got from the Muse. It's very short, but straight to the point. So it's like, hello, recruiter. Thanks again for the opportunity to meet with you at the May 20th job fair. Or you can say at the job fair on May 20th. It was great learning about the office assistant position, and I believe my skills and experience would be a great fit for your company. I would love to connect regarding a potential career with the company and look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thanks again for your time. So this is just a short template. What I do recommend is that you include how your skills and qualifications meet of what the employer is looking for. And you can include that after the second line. where it says it was great learning about, for example, the office assistant position. I believe my skills and experience would make me a great fit for the company. You can talk a little bit more about how you would be a good fit here. In addition to this note, make sure to include your resume. That way the employer has it if they don't already have it. So feel free to use this short template for your follow-up. Um, if you have a different template or something a little, that you feel is a little bit more effective, that's fine, but definitely follow up with a thank you note. So just some additional tips for the job fair. Do not disregard companies because you are unaware of the company. They may have a great opportunity for you. There's going to be some, combination of big employers, smaller employers, and you may not know what the company has to offer. Maybe it's not a big name. Don't disregard them because sometimes they have really great opportunities for you and opportunities for you to grow. Definitely hear them out and see what they have to offer. Be patient and wait your turn. Job fairs can get crowded. Do not eat or drink in front of a recruiter. Do not chew gum. Turn off your phone and keep it out of sight. Do not ask questions about benefits or vacations. Remember, we don't even ask those questions during the interviews, so do not ask them during the job fair either. Stay positive and do not say anything negative. Do not say anything personal that does not relate to the position. Keep it professional. If online, set professional environment, ensure your connection is good. So if you are doing an online job fair, make sure there's nothing behind you that's distracting. There's no noise. Keep your microphone muted if needed, and then turn it on when you need to speak to the employer. All right, so future events. So we do have a virtual job fair happening next Thursday, May 20th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. If you haven't signed up, I do encourage you to sign up as soon as possible. I already sent out the Zoom links to some of the students that have RSVP'd, but if you haven't RSVP'd, please do so as soon as possible. That way you can get the Zoom link. Now, how the job fair is going to work next week. We have some employers lined up from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and they're going to be taking turns in talking about their company and the jobs that they have to offer. Now, this is not a traditional job fair where you'll have a chance to speak to one employer and then go to the next employer, right? So what's going to happen is after each employer is done speaking, we're going to open it up for questions. That will be your time to introduce yourself and ask the employer a question. Please do so. Please, participate because the employer will notice that, you asked a question and will remember who you are. Sometimes, not sometimes, but some of the employers will be providing their emails so that you can follow up with them at a later time. If they do provide that information and you are interested in working for that company or in that position, make sure to follow up with them within 24 hours using maybe the template that I provided you or using your own thank you notes. When you do follow up, make sure you include your resume. If you don't have a resume, please let us know as soon as possible and we can help you with that. So that's the virtual job fair that is happening next week. We're also going to have another event, which is more like a forum. It's not going to be a presentation. It's we're calling it What's Next. It's a counseling chat where you'll have a chance to meet with student support services to talk about the school, any careers, college, or resources that you may be interested in. If you're interested in participating in this forum, please just sign up using that link there, and I will be sending that out through email to all our students. We hope that you will attend. Now, the next slide has our information, but before we end the presentation, please don't go because we are going to be practicing our elevator pitch. But before we get to that, here you'll find our Torrance Adult School website link, as well as the Student Support Service website, where you'll find more information about jobs, resume, other resources that you may need. You'll also find here the email addresses to the Student Support Services representatives. So we have Veronica Nieves, who works mainly with the high school diploma, high school equivalency students. Tiana Kawalakis, who works mainly with the career technical education students, and then myself, who works with the ESL students. We also have social media. We have the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where you'll find future information about our events, as well as a YouTube video, not YouTube video, a YouTube page called Torrance Adult School Outreach, where you'll find our video recordings. So definitely follow us. But before we officially end, we are going to practice our elevator pitch. So we are going to break up into smaller groups, and in these small groups, please practice your elevator pitch, but also ask any questions that you have regarding the job fair, regarding preparing for jobs. So let me go ahead and just stop the recording real quick.